Can this child really be the dead wife of this man? And the mother of a boy her own age? Can this girl carry the spirit of a dead teenager? How can they remember their past lives?
I do believe that reincarnation should be taken seriously.
There are many strange stories of people claiming to remember earlier lives that at first glance defy explanation. Benares, northern India. The holy river Mother Ganges flows through the city. Hinduism is one of the world's oldest religions, with millions of followers. For them, life does not always end in death. Along the banks, funeral pyres for the dead. Only immersing the ashes in the river will release the soul from the cycle of rebirth and suffering in this world. Karma is the Hindu law that controls reincarnation and our places on the ladder of existence. Good deeds will be rewarded, bad punished, giving everyone a chance to redeem themselves. The priests believe it offers comfort.
जैसे सूर्य है, सूर्य की किरणें अनंत हैं। अब वो सूर्य
Who can count the sunbeams? The sun is a source of endless beams. There are so many souls. The light begins to die, but the souls come back again and again.
वैसे भी परमात्मा से अनंत आते हैं।
Thousands of tales of reincarnation exist in India. On the 11th of December 1926, a girl is born in Delhi. For Hindus, she was to become living proof of their beliefs. Her name was Shanti Devi. Until the age of 4, she never spoke. When she did, her first words were explosive. She told her mother that her home was not in Delhi, but in a town called Matra, 140 kilometers away. She had lived there in her past life. Her name was Lugdi, and her husband was a man called Kedarnath Chobe. Shanti was able to describe the town in astonishing detail, even though she had never been there. She could even remember how she died, giving birth to her son 7 years earlier. For 2 years, Shanti's parents dismissed her words as fantasy. In the end, her mother decided she could no longer ignore her daughter's vivid descriptions. So one of Shanti's uncles travelled to Matra to investigate her claims. What he found seemed to confirm her story. There was a clothmaker living in the town. His wife Lugdi had died in childbirth the year before Shanti Devi was born. His name was Kedarnath Chobe. Was Shanti his wife reborn? Dr. Rawat is one of India's leading specialists on reincarnation. He has spent much of his life retracing Shanti's story and recalls Kedarnath's first encounter with her.
When Kedarnath came to Delhi, and there were a lot of people very curious to know whether Shanti had been talking all nonsense or there is truth in it. But when in the morning, Kedarnath very openly and clearly stated that I am 100% convinced she is Buddhi. The whole thing spread like fire, and hundreds and hundreds of people used to come to see this child.
In the 1930s, India was in turmoil as the country struggled for independence from British rule. Hindus and Muslims clashed violently. Mahatma Gandhi, a Hindu, was seeking a peaceful solution. He moved Devi's story center stage in the wider struggle.
At the same time, India has many people from many other regions also. They said that it is Devi's story is a propaganda done by Hindus in order to promote their religion.
In 1935, Gandhi asked for Shanti Devi to be brought to him.
Shanti told me when she was narrating her incidences that she still remembered, even at the age of 62, that she was she felt the bones of Gandhi when she was sitting in his lap.
For Hindus, she was living proof that their laws controlled human destiny. But as a belief system, it has its critics. Even inside India, many don't accept karma or reincarnation. Sanal Iramaku of the Indian Rationalist Society is one.
I have been personally involved in studying hundreds of cases of reincarnation, and I am convinced that all these cases that I have been exposed to were absolutely fake, hoax, or sometimes simple mental cases.
For Sanal, the need for reincarnation doesn't lie with the rebirth of the soul or pondering on a past life. He looks to Indian society for the answers. To be born a Hindu in India is to be born into a caste, a system as rigid as stone. For over 1500 years, it's followed one basic rule, that all men are created unequal. Brahmins sit at the very top of the ladder. At the bottom are the untouchables. To explain the enduring power of reincarnation, this is where Sanal believes we should start.
The fundamental concept of reincarnation tells you a very wrong thing. Whatever life situation that you have in this life is the gaining of you. If it is the gaining of you from the last incarnation, if you have done good deeds in the last birth, you get better life here. If you are an untouchable, if you are a poor person, if you don't have money, if you don't have job, if your situations are bad, that's because you have done some sins in the last life.
So the opportunity is for the people that are in a better caste of Hinduism to ensure they're going to gain either greater with their next life by helping the untouchables to live as human beings.
That takes away the sense of enterprise in people. People are lethargic. Ask many Indians in the villages. They say that my fate is written on my forehead. They would say. It cannot be changed. It's karma. It's fate. You cannot change it. It's all predestined. That's the concept of reincarnation. That's one of the major reasons that our people are not coming up, going forward.
By 1935, Shanti's story was a national sensation, and Gandhi appointed a commission to investigate her claims. A team of politicians, scientists and journalists took Shanti to Mathura. Their aim was to test the 9-year-old's knowledge of the town and people. Would Shanti pass? When the team arrived in Matra, they were astonished by how much the child knew. She answered many questions correctly, although several she got wrong. But she was able to describe the holy gates of the city before they reached them. She could point out new buildings and streets, which she claimed did not exist in the past. Shanti's brother, Viresh Narayan, accompanied her on the journey. He remembers it as if it were yesterday.
She told the way.
She showed the way. You have to go that way. And now they're like that. And she guided the team to the home of her previous life.
Outside the clothmaker's shop, Shanti Devi met Namanda Bay, who would have been her sister in her past life.
She recognized me straight away. There were so many people, they were pushing her away from me, but she recognized everything. She knew of each lane, where it led to, knew every tenant, knew where they lived. She recognized the cobbler, the washer, all of them.
The trip culminated in a dramatic encounter. 9-year-old Shanti met 10-year-old Navneet, the son she died giving birth to. Mother and son meet for the first time.
They pointed at me and asked Shanti Devi, "Who is that?" And she said, "That is my son." "How did you recognize him?" She said, "My soul has recognized his soul." And she began to cry.
For the Commission, this was final proof. Their report concluded that if science and religion could meet on a common ground together, they could unlock the miracle of reincarnation. The case is of worldwide importance, with direct effect on mankind. We ask all scientists to help us find a conclusion. But what could science contribute to such an unscientific debate? In America, the McGovern Institute for Brain Research tries to unlock the mysteries of human memory. Nobel Prize winner Professor Philip Shah heads up the unit.
The soul, in many cases, has an implication related to religion or good and bad, and existence beyond the physical organism. And it's very hard to scientifically prove anything that is related to what is a soul.
What is a difficult concept for a scientist is accepted as a simple truth for millions around the globe. For Namanda Bay, her sister's soul had been reborn in a new body, but she was the same person.
I was so happy that I found my sister again after her death, almost as if I gained a new sister. I was happy, more than happy. But then she went back to Delhi. It was as if I was going to lose her a second time. I was left sad, very sad.
Consciousness clearly comes or is shaped by culture in many ways, and the people we interact with, and the
Everybody has to go through the highs and lows of birth and rebirth. With this life, the cycle ends. I will go to God in my next life.
She will go to God in her next life, meaning God will be in the earth when she returns to it. It's the same for Enoch.
Of scholars, investigators, critics, writers, journalists went to her, questioned her to the extent that right from the almost the day she started talking about past life till I know of the 4 days before her death, when I had last interviewed her.
This is the work of God. God made me his tool. This is all God's play, and the world is the stage. And we all dance as he wants us to.
It says in the Holy Scriptures that reincarnation exists. My mother proved it and showed everyone that there is such a thing as rebirth. She was living proof, and all those people who didn't believe in it had to accept that there is reincarnation.
But 1 year after Shanti's death, disturbing new evidence came to light. Kedarnath Chobe, Shanti's alleged husband, had paid regular visits to Delhi. These visits could cast doubt on Shanti's claims.
After his wife had died, he was able to travel the 300-kilometre round trip to New Delhi, or Delhi, to a bustling city of millions, and to be able to do business across the street from where his wife's soul had been reborn, and he was led there by his own soul. What they're trying to say here is that the girl overheard him talking. That's where the evidence comes from. How pathetic is it?
His trips to the capital regularly took him to a shop opposite her family home. Is it possible that young Shanti could have overheard Kedarnath's conversations about his life in Matra and subconsciously absorbed the knowledge?
You cannot
So the proof of reincarnation is absolute, and it's put back into the Hindu and the Muslim, and that quelled fighting between them by showing them a common threat. They both come from the same place.